On behalf of the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation, we thank you for joining us to celebrate the 76th year of the Los Angeles Police Reserve Corps and the 40th anniversary of the Reserve Foundation. Honored guests, please stand for the posting of the colors by the Los Angeles Police Department Honor Guard. Our national anthem sung by Officer Arian Jefferson, and the invocation by Chaplain Martin Morehouse.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Order! Color! Rise! Face! Forward! March!
Please pray with me. Lord, thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you for all the reserve officers we have here. And just bless this evening. Amen.
Hello, I'm Mayor Karen Bass. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, it is my honor to welcome you to the 2023 Twice a Citizen Award ceremony. As many of you know, the challenges we face today are increasingly complex, and the same can be said for our police officers. Still, reservists continue to step up and volunteer to serve their communities to make a difference and to make our city safer. I want to share my gratitude to the LAPD Reserve police officers who are being honored tonight, and I also want to recognize the Twice a Citizen nominees. NBA superstar Norm Nixon, actress, dancer, choreographer, and overall inspirer Debbie Allen, and the founders of one of our city's most important institutions, the Skirball Cultural Center founders, Yuri and Mina Hersher. Thank you for being impactful community leaders for our city. So much heroism and selfless service is being showcased tonight. Thank you all for your incredible service. Enjoy the celebration.
Please welcome to the stage the presidents of the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation, Carla Amundsen, and Reserve Police Officer retired Michael Sellers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Carla and I want to start this evening by asking all of our reserve police officers to stand, active as well as retired. We have a lot of retired today, so please stand up. Specialists as well. Thank you for your service. You know, I got to be honest with you. When I was a young reserve officer, 593R, hoorah, I wasn't really sure what this event was all about. I knew that we were going to get chicken something, but that was probably just about it. But of course, I learned that what this event is about all of you who stood, and it's about our Reserve Foundation commitment to you. Thank you, whoever did that. So let me do this. I'll be quick. These are our initiatives, all right? Number one, in-service training. This past year, our reserve officers went to RPOC, which is the state conference, and it was held in Los Angeles for the first time, I think, in forever. And to that end, we want to congratulate Steve Fazio. There you are, Steve. Steve was elected president of the California Reserve Peace Officers Association, filling the shoes of the great Jim Lombardi. Good luck, Steve. Equipment. Equipment. Carla's going to talk about marvelous, wonderful, life-saving tools that will keep our reserve officers safe. Our scholarship, our vocational scholarship which has been completely funded by retired reserve officers. They gave so much, and now they're giving a little bit more. Thank you. So the Legal Defense Fund. So there was a delay on that, but thanks to our partners on the Protective League, that's going to be taken care of. You'll get updated on that. And it's not for sure, but we believe that the case is that you will have retroactive coverage for you and your families as long as you sign up by May 31st. And of course, tonight, all you Reserve Officers of the Year, all you nominees are going to get this very special Reserve Exceptional ribbon. Look on page 83 of the journal. I want to thank Mel Kennedy for arranging it and putting all these ribbons on stage. In fact, Carla and I would like to have all of our board of director members to stand. So please stand. Put down your forks. Thank you. There they are. Reach out to us if you need us. Folks, we cannot do this without our honorees. We really couldn't. And we've been in this, our gala has been in this room, in this grand hall for several years. And this year, we are honored to honor the founders of the Skirball Center, Dr. Uri and Mina Hersher. Thank you so much for being here. We are so grateful. Also, we get to honor Norm Nixon and Debbie Allen. Their accomplishments, their humanitarianism is the very definition of what it means to be twice a citizen. We thank you for being here as well. Thank you so much. And of course, we have two rock stars of the reserves here tonight. Dave Bush and Eric Rose are going to be getting our Andrea Friedman Award tonight. And in closing, we want to thank Chief of Police Michael Moore, and all the command staff for all of your leadership. We've actually grown up all together. Thank you so much. We thank the Reserve Unit downtown, and we thank Reserve coordinators department-wide for everything that you've done. We congratulate, finally, we congratulate Sergeant Coronel Sandos on his retirement, and we welcome Sergeant Johnny Johnson, who not long ago was working the streets in Hollywood with reserves. So that's it. Have a great night. Be safe, and let me introduce to you my friend and co-president, Carla.
I'm short. I have to move these things. You know, Michael, if there's one thing I learned from officers like you, feed them well and maybe they'll come back. Hopefully tonight's tender short ribs, juicy chicken, and crave-worthy vegetarian option will keep you coming back, unlike the chicken dinner you endured as a young officer. In addition to our honorees, we of course have auctions both silent and live. A portion of tonight's proceeds will support the purchase and distribution of wound packs. The auctioneer will give the gory details, but this product, like a tourniquet, can save officers' lives. As reserve officers return to the field after the COVID hiatus, we want to make sure they're safe and protected. The city does provide some basic first aid equipment, but our reserve officers deserve more than basic. Tonight, we are fortunate to have our MCs, both of whom should be well known to you. Araxia Karapetian, you can see her daily on Fox 11 Good Day LA. Her family moved to Los Angeles when she was 7, and she very quickly became a local girl. After college at Syracuse University and a brief stint broadcasting in Oregon, she came home. She's worked at KABC, KFI 640, and now Fox 11. Araxia's family roots remain part of her as she continues involvement with Armenia and hosts local events like the Armenia Fund, International Thanksgiving Day Telethon, and fundraisers for the children of Armenia. Now look, I didn't mispronounce her name. Like a reserve officer, she gives back. I know Mark Thompson is familiar to you because after his first hosting gig, you all asked for him to come back. His biography is almost too long to list, which confirms he's a sought-after professional, a regular on the charity circuit, and fundraising galore. Mark is an active supporter of many philanthropic enterprises with a concentration in the children's areas of children's health and advocacy for animals, education, and environmental charities. Last week, he experienced the curse of the ride-along. Sergeant Johnson, formerly of Hollywood, took him out and, well, nothing really happened. Moat, I hope you share that experience and the less than optimal result. Please welcome Araxia Karapetian and Mark Thompson.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Carla, you say my name better than I do. That was excellent pronunciation. Thank you.
How can they say nothing happened on my ride-along? Let me tell you what happened on my ride-along. There was a 459 in progress. What is that, a 459? Burglary in progress with the intruders still in the place. How can you say nothing happened?
So what happened?
Well, what do you think happened? I leapt out of the car. The sergeant said, "You can't go in there. It's too dangerous." I said, "Sarge, I don't know danger." I ran in. I apprehended no, I was hiding really under the dashboard for most of the ride along. It is true, though, we did have that. We had up in Mulholland, there was an intruder in the house. So we go up there, but they, because it's just a ride along and I'm not trained, as you're aware. They made me stay in the back a little bit, I was comfortable with that role. Just securing everything, keeping an eye on the car.
Right.
And it turned out that it was the person's father who had climbed in through a basement window. I mean, who does that? So the woman in the house called 911.
So it's not as exciting as I thought.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a better story the way I started
Right.
it, but anyway.
I'm glad you got to do that, though, because they invited me as well, and I was unable to do that, unfortunately, but I would like to do that still.
It was exciting, and the other thing that they do, and I think they're going to do this with the public, is they had me go downtown and run the simulator. Ooh. If you run the simulator as a civilian, I think something is reinforced, which you already know, which is we ask the cops to deal with situations that are so difficult and so inexact and so impossible to perceive in an instant as to what the right strategy should be. And so when you're actually running the simulation, I ran it 3 times, 3 different scenarios, it's a real education. they are going to take that simulator, the sergeant was telling me, and they're going to bring it to the public. They're going to bring it to places like county fairs and to places where the public can see what tough, police work and what tough situations are presented to cops. So I love that as a plan. What people may not know about Araxi, or you might, and certainly Carla mentioned it, is she does a lot of outreach on behalf of the police and also just in general, I think, in the Armenian community.
I do, which is funny because my mom came over to watch my kids so we could be here, and she said, "So what's the Armenian connection tonight?" I'm like, there is no Armenian connection. She's like, there has to be. I'm like, no, seriously, I don't just do Armenian events, and I'm very, very honored and happy to be here with all of you, because for me it's about community, and this certainly is about community, and it's about giving back, and I love stories where people are giving back. And when I think of the people in this room and in the past who've given back, I think of their families, because when you do something to this magnitude, it's not just about you, you're thinking about everyone else. It's something bigger than yourself, and your families also certainly deserve a lot of credit because they also are supporting you in order to do the amazing work that you're doing. So thank you for that.
That's true. And it is an extraordinary sacrifice. I mean, when you think that so many in the reserve program, which I've just heard about a few years ago from Carla and Bill, my co-host last time that year, I was surprised at what individuals do as reserves, to work a full-time job as a business person or as an entertainment or banking executive, and then to give so many hours to the city without getting paid year in and year out. My admiration is to all of you. And I have to say, when you think about, and somebody was making this point, I was talking to the guys in the Hollywood division, and somebody was saying during the riots and during some of the protests that followed that COVID summer of BLM and all the rest, there were plenty of reserve officers out there doing the job of officers who were getting paid, but those reserve officers were not getting paid. And it's extraordinary to think of the kind of effort that is day in and day out on the part of the reserve. So again, very, very impressive.
In a world where everything's about money, it is impressive, and we should underscore the fact that they do not get paid.
Yeah.
It's about something, again, bigger than themselves. So thank you for that. By the way, I was just thinking about the fact that we never worked together professionally. Our paths never crossed.
Yeah, at Fox 11, I worked at Fox 11 for 23 years, and Araxi was coming in the mornings. I did the evenings. Mm-hmm. And then I went to KFI Radio, where I am now, and yeah, I've been to back to Fox 11 a couple of times, but haven't seen us. This is really fun.
This was your plan.
Yeah.
You got me here to host an event with you.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone.
Honored to be here with all of you. I know everyone's excited because everyone is chatting and drinking. I'm very used to this, but just so we give respect to all of the people being honored here tonight, I do ask you to try to just be mindful. How's that?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Just so they get their moment. They certainly deserve it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. The LAPD Reserve Corps, if you don't know, was founded in 1947 to support the men and women of the LAPD. And then 36 years later, the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation came into existence to support the Corps. And tonight, we are here, of course, to recognize hundreds of reserve police officers who support the LAPD, working side by side with their LAPD counterparts. Tonight, we're here to pay tribute to 6 outstanding citizens who are truly giving their time and their effort and their support to our community. So let's mention some of these incredible people. Doctors Uri and Mina Hersher, Norman Nixon and Debbie Allen, David Bush. David Bush, your daughter sent me a message on Instagram last night, randomly. Lisa, nice to meet you. And Eric Rose, you will hear more about later. We have a number of other special guests we'd like to introduce.
From the Los Angeles Police Department, a number of command staff are with us. Of course, the Chief of Police, Michael Moore. Assistant Chief, Robert Marino. Deputy Chief, Mark Reyna. Deputy Chief, Dan Randolph. Deputy Chief Al Labrada, Deputy Chief Blake Chow, Deputy Chief Dave Kowalski, Deputy Chief Gerald Woodyard, Commanding Officer Anne Marie Sauer, Commanders Shannon Paulson, Ruby Flores, and German Hurtado. From the Board of Police Commissioners, Dr. Errol Southers, and Executive Director Richard Tefenk. Former Police Administrator Gloria Grube is here this evening. And dozens more commanders, captains, sergeants, and officers from all divisions.
Of course, we also have some honorees we will introduce later in the program, but a few other people to recognize. So we have Deputy Mayor of Los Angeles, Brian Williams. Consul General Mansour Al-Salatin. Several staff members from Supervisor Catherine Barger. Thank you so much for being here. A few of our previous Twice a Citizen honorees. You have former City Council member, LAPD, and Reserve Officer Dennis Zine, whom I'm ever grateful for. Every time there's a police situation, you always jump on the call with us, so thank you. You rescue us all the time. Former Foundation President Mel Kennedy, businessman and Reserve Officer Steve Fazio, and Ryan Cassidy, who's also a board member of the Reserve Foundation. Also, our friend and my colleague currently, Christine Devine, Table 9.
Yeah.
She took her fascinator off. In honors of the royal, she had that on. It was easier to spot you. Thanks, Christine, for being here.
You know, last time they had the chief and his wife Cindy at our table. This time they've moved to a different table. And I'm blaming you, Courtney. I think it's something you said last time. There's that possibility too. But we've got the lovely Christine Devine at our table, so very happy. I'd like to invite right now all the reserve officers who are getting your pins tonight for your years of service from 20 years to 55 years to please check in with the officer reception area in the lobby. That way it'll just help the logistics of the night. All reserve officers receiving your pins tonight, please head out to the lobby now, if you would, please. And as that happens, it is now my distinct honor to introduce our co-host for the evening, a 42-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department, rose through the ranks, became deputy chief in 2004, assistant chief in 2010, first assistant chief in 2016, and on June 27th of 2018 was sworn in by Mayor Garcetti as the 57th chief of police of the city of Los Angeles, and he recently got confirmation for a second term by the mayor, Karen Bass. He oversees the most innovative law enforcement agency in the world and the third largest police force. He takes great personal pride in being here tonight to recognize the hundreds of reserve police officers in our city and is here to present the awards to them. Please welcome our Chief of Police, Michael Moore.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, you can do better than that. Come on. You were chattering up a little earlier. Good evening, everyone. There you go. So let's first thank Mark Thompson, and I'm going to do my best on this madam's name, Araki Saraka. Yeah, I failed again. How about Mrs. A? Araxia. Very good. Let's give them a hand for their generosity to be here tonight, to negotiate through here. Courtney, it was nothing that you said. It was all Mark. Believe me. And Al Labrada, you were an assistant chief. And Gloria Grube, you were not a police commissioner, but you were one of our most valued police administrators and directorate during an important time. Tonight is an opportunity for us to celebrate. It's an opportunity for us to recognize the dedication of hundreds of reserves that come to work. Oh, that's right, they don't come to work. They come to volunteer. There is a picture in my office that came from a reserve that talks about a quote that says, "You wouldn't go down this alley for $1 million. Police officer does it for a lot less, and a reserve officer does it for free." I can't define a circumstance or a time in which I can make sense in my mind about why people do this work, except for the fact that every reserve officer has in their heart the same thing that every full-time dedicated professional that works the job does. And that is that they know that they stand on that line to make matters matter, to stand in the face of evil and to say, no, not this time. We're here to serve. We're here to protect. And we're going to rise to the occasion, no matter the foe or the challenge. Tonight is an opportunity to celebrate that, whether it's your first year or with one individual, which we will have a discussion with BSS soon, your 55th year. But the reality of this is also it's an opportunity to recognize that the Los Angeles Police Foundation, the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation, in its 40th year, has been a generous organization of people in our communities that say, well, I may not be a reserve officer. What they do is something that keeps this city safe. And it's something that, while I can't do it, I can contribute to. So tonight is also an opportunity not just to celebrate and recognize whether it's 20 years or 55 years, if it's one of our 21 areas Reserve Officers of the Year, from our 5 geographic bureaus, whether it's Eric Rose, who's done a tremendous work, Dave Bush, which has been a legend in his service to the city, whether it's the generosity of Yuri and Marina Hirschner. Is this not a beautiful center? The Skirball Center. Every city is known for its jewels, and the Skirball Center is one of the jewels of Los Angeles, this world-class city, and it's a center that welcomes this department on a regular basis for us to work with our communities, for us to celebrate, for us to learn, and I just want to thank Yuri for opening these doors to us, for having us here, but also supporting tonight's event. Let's give him a hand, as well as Marna, who could not be here. So we do live in a world-class city. And so the next person I want to thank for allowing us to honor him and his wife is a person that in other parts of the world, he could not enter a room without people standing in line. And that's Norm Nixon. Let's give him a hand. What a gentleman, what an athlete. Norm, thank you for allowing us, and thank you for your partnership with Baker to Vegas and the times that you spend at our academy. We appreciate that generosity. Finally, as I close, so we celebrate reserves. We recognize an opportunity to probably raise some funds. So Carla may be up here a little bit and be pressing you a little bit. So just get ready for that. But it's all in an effort to support the men and women who go out every day to serve the people of Los Angeles. And for that, I'm grateful. And the Los Angeles Police Department, which leads in policing across America with programs such as our mental evaluation units, our SMART teams, our senior lead program, our community police, our CPS, our Community Police Safety Partnership Bureau. But our reserve program has existed well before all of those. And as people look to policing and they say, what is the Los Angeles Police Department doing to generate or to demonstrate its commitment to partnering with the communities? Well, let me talk about a reserve program for a moment. The essence came from World War II, when this city, this country, fought to protect its very existence. Is this city looked to its community and said, we need you. We need you to step forward and be a part of the public safety of Los Angeles. And the reserves were formed, and they've existed ever since. And as a chief, I cannot be prouder of your continued work And my commitment to you is that we're going to continue to work to improve the conditions in which we provide training, we provide equipment, and we provide support. I hope you see that. I hope you see that in the command officers and the staff officers that are here tonight to support you and to recognize this work. To Commissioner Suthers that's here tonight, to Mr. Brian Williams, the Deputy Mayor of Public Safety. They are here as well as I am to say we appreciate you, and to your families and friends that allow you to do this stuff, just know that you're part of the family as well. You're part of the LAPD family that makes the city of Los Angeles that bright city on the hill. And for that, I'm grateful. God bless all of you and have a wonderful evening tonight.
There are feverish script changes going on back there. That's what's happening. But
See, we're covered because things change. You know, live
Absolutely.
TV. You
No,
remember
this
live
is-
TV?
Sure.
Things change. The prompter isn't catching up, so you gotta, always have this handy. Okay, Chief, thank you so much. And it took me a moment. I did a double take because I'm so used to seeing Chief Moore in uniform to see him dressed
Yeah,
up.
and,
It threw me off for a moment. It really did. Until 10? Okay, all right, we're gonna try to wrap it up
so
before
I've
then.
only got it till 10, so hurry up. Yeah.
All right, so Chief Officer John Gill to your right. Mark will begin the presentation, and we are going to have those pins, those special pins.
Yeah, before we begin, we want to invite the Reserve Officer winners from Central Bureau, South Bureau, and West Bureau to head to the lobby to check in with the officers there. South Bureau, Central Bureau, and West Bureau, please head to the lobby now and check in.
Okay. See, this is another reason you need to have the
Yes.
script, because the prompter's
Jen,
not catching
are you
up.
back there?
Okay, several of the reserve officers and volunteers in the audience have now reached a significant milestone of serving our city for over 20 years in their assigned duties. And the chief would like to take this opportunity, of course, to present them with that special pin for their service. First up, we're going to do 20 years.
Yep, here we are. First up, receiving their 20-year service pins, Bill Amundson, my old partner.
I should be standing here.
Yeah. George Alwyn. Trevor Ingold. Gary Kennedy. My partner on my Hollywood ride-along, Bernard Khalili. And Mark Payette. All right.
25 years of service, John Choplin.
Until we get all the pictures taken.
You're John. Yes. Okay.
Okay, good deal.
Are we doing a group picture? A group picture? Group picture? Okay. All right. 35 years of service. Let's begin. Crystal Burke Potts.
It's 30 years? The 30-year pin first to Sarah Novak. Sarah.
Crystal, you just get extra attention. Crystal Burke Potts, 35 years of service. John McCarthy.
All right.
Hello. Brian McClary. Sergio Ortiz. Recognizing 40 years of dedication, Jesus Corral. Hello. Gilbert Escontrias.
Not you. He's coming.
Is he coming?
No, he's.
Gary Christoph. Now for 45 years, Stephen Whitelaw.
He is, so.
All right, 50 years of serving the city, we have Richard Kanzaki. All right, now serving for 55 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's impressive. He was an LAPD officer for over 28 years, a city council member and reserve officer for 12 years. He came back to the fold as a reserve police officer in 2001. There is a reason we're standing. Our sincere appreciation to Dennis Zine.
Come on, kid. Nice job, man. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations, Dennis. Love the photos. Something to remember, a terrific evening, terrific service, and a terrific way to honor that service. I will do one little piece of logistics again here. I need all the reserve officers of the year for South Bureau, Central Bureau, and West Bureau backstage. So if you would all please join us backstage, we'd appreciate that. Jen, can you hear us okay? Tonight we honor the Reserve Police Officers of the Year chosen by their division command staff. We call them Twice a Citizen. Most of them have, as you know, 2 jobs. One in the regular business world, as I was saying a few minutes ago when we were just sort of saying hello, and one in law enforcement. Now, they'll be announced group by bureau, and if you hear us say RPO 1 or RPO 3, that stands for Reserve Police Officer and the level that they've attained. Level 1 being equal to a qualified LAPD officer with full training. At the end of the program tonight, we'll honor one of these Reserve Police Officers as the Reserve Officer of the Year for 2022, which the foundation has tried to keep a surprise, so please, no one leave. Let's start with Central Bureau. Araxia, you can do the honors, please.
Okay, my pleasure. First, from Central Bureau, after 30 years of service to the Northeast Division, assisting important events like the annual toy drive, the cadet program, PALS, and other areas of the division, Sarah Novak retired last December. The funny part is that although she retired, she continues to offer her assistance to Northeast and model the department's core values. For what she accomplished as a sworn officer in 2022 and continues to do as a retiree, Sarah Novak is the Northeast Reserve Officer of the Year. Where there is a need in Central Division, you will find Ghansham Patel. Patrol, of course, right? Patrol, of course. Also central numerous events, like you've got Special Olympics, you've got the Open House, National Night Out, Baker to Vegas support, other special events, always overseen by Officer Patel. He's always involved, and needless to say, he puts in more than the minimum hours of work. Traditional holidays, such as Newton Division's Turkey Giveaway, Miracle on 34th Street, and Cruising with Santa, get assistance from this officer. Let us give a warm welcome to Officer Roger Cuevas. Newton Division cadets also benefit from him in his participation. Being an avid runner himself, he patiently mentors the cadets to be physically and mentally prepared to safely run and finish the 26.2 Los Angeles Marathon. For 35 years, you would think one would, I don't know, maybe slow down a little bit. Officer Jerry Vergara logs 140 hours per month. As a reminder, 16 hours is a minimum standard. And those hours rack up to like 25,000 hours in 35 years, 17,000 of those in the last 9. He retired actually from the DMV to work nearly full-time at the Hollenbeck as a reserve officer and is known as a true partner with a really great attitude whom everyone wants to work with. He couldn't join us here tonight, unfortunately, but he also is the Reserve Officer of the Year for the Central Bureau.
Wow.
Jerry Vergara.
Oh, he leaves DMV and then he jumps to the Hollenbeck
I know,
Division.
it's a
Man,
lot.
that's a long day. I'm happy to introduce you to the South Bureau, just one recipient tonight. In the criminal justice system, the people, they want me, this is like the Law and Order thing, is that the, in the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups. The police, who investigate crime, and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. You might recognize that as the opening line from Law and Order. That's why I'm reading it this way. Harbor Division's Officer Bill Schwartz investigates violations, and being a former deputy district attorney and subject matter expert on filing cases, advises the city's attorney office on how to strengthen cases. Officer Bill Schwartz, you are also the Reserve Officer of the Year for South Bureau. Congratulations. And from the West Bureau, hooray for Hollywood and for Officer Glenn Oster. Glenn joined the department and the Hollywood Division in 1995. After completing the probationary period, he established himself as one of the hardest working reserve officers in the division. 28 years later, he has not let up and is critical in maintaining patrol minimums and is a member and leader within the Hollywood Reserve Corps, making him an irreplaceable member of that team. Apparently, 33 years is not enough time in a law enforcement career. Wilshire area's Officer Perry Jones retired. Yeah. So Perry retired from full-time LAPD work, as clearly a lot in this room already know, and has been part of the Reserve Corps since 2020. What keeps him coming back at all hours? He says kids and community. Jones works with the Wilshire Cadets. He's a role model for the youth program. Wilshire's intra-departmental basketball team won the 2023 championship thanks to Officer Jones's coaching. And Norm Nixon, it would be nice, maybe, I don't want to pressure you, but if you want to maybe in your spare time speak with Officer Jones about, some coaching strategies, he can continue the dynasty there. So bravo, Officer Jones. What do satellite payloads, wireless startups, implementation of communication systems across the country, Make-A-Wish, Red Cross, and LAPD have in common? They all have the benefit of Pacific Division's Officer Jeffrey Puget. Puget worked hard to rapidly complete his probationary period after graduating Level 1 in June of 2022. In addition, he participates in all community events in the Pacific Division, providing a reliable resource for that division. Congratulations. Boy, it's a lot of me here, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Do you-
It's okay
you-
to take it.
All right,
It's your
okay. I
moment.
just feel like,
Shine.
all right,
Take
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
This could be my big break. You
Yeah.
never know. All right. He may have been born in New York, but he is LA through and through, having attended Fairfax High School and Cal State University in Northridge. California governors have relied on his expertise because of his 3 decades of experience in the financial tech industry. Officer Omar Ritchie is assigned to the Olympic Division, where he's a fixture on patrol, community events, and crime task forces. Hard to believe Omar has this kind of time to give the city. He has 4 daughters at home at the same time, so
Wow.
congratulations.
Congratulations on that.
Whenever we need reserve officers, we know we can count on Saba. That is what the CEO of West LA wrote about Officer Joseph Saba. When there's a need for patrol, Saba is there, he says. Working with senior leads, Saba is there, he said. Maintaining the station by installing electronics, minor renovations, or fixing the Wi-Fi even, Saba is there. Captain Heredia closed his recommendation stating that West LA is lucky to have Joseph Saba. Yeah. Joseph Saba, officer, if you could remain to accept the Reserve Officer of the Year for West Bureau, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Congratulations.
We're going to take a group photo. All right, as they take the group photo, our gratitude to all of you for serving the city and the department so well for so many years. Thank you. Next, we have a special presentation, the Andrea Friedman Award, and to do the honors, Carla and Michael, please come up.
How about it for Carla and Michael back, everyone?
Thank you. Thank you. So, hi everybody again. So tonight we get to present the Andrea Friedman Award to a couple of rock stars of the Los Angeles Police Reserve Corps, David Bush and Eric Rose, both of whom just retired. I have the honor to talk about Dave. So Dave, 28 years of service. And when I walked into his retirement dinner, I was struck by the number of senior lead officers who were in attendance. I was even more struck by the gift, the plaque that they gave him. The plaque said, Reserve Senior Lead Officer Dave Bush. I cannot imagine receiving a greater honor from our fellow full-time brothers and sisters. But you know what? It's so well deserved. Dave has worked a lot of divisions and areas. He worked Foothill, he worked Devonshire, he worked the chief of police office. He is the one who I inherited the Reserve newsletter from. And of course, he worked on the Reserve Foundation. But you know what? His legacy, and I think you'll agree with us, his legacy are the smiles on the faces of countless children and kids that he organized through the Sunshine Kids, kids with cancer who got to be honorary Reserve Officers of the Day, Special Olympics, and of course the holiday visits to the Children's Hospital. And by the way, Dave Bush makes a very convincing Santa Claus. I think he is Santa Claus. My friends, I wish that I could articulate the experiences that these kids have had because of Dave Bush. My favorite story is a little girl in her hospital room who set up a nail salon, and her client was a chief of police. So adorable, so wonderful. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, for service above and beyond, to the LAPD Reserve Corps, to the LAPD, to the community overall, we are honored to present the Andrea Friedman Award to Reserve Senior Lead Officer David Bush. They, thank you, everybody. They said I only had 30 minutes, so I need to make it real fast. And I'm only kidding. Cher just passed out there. So I have 2 minutes. Thank you to the Reserve Foundation. I did not expect this. I really appreciate the award. I want to thank my beautiful wife. Be 52 years in October. Without her support, I couldn't have done this. And also my daughter, Lisa. I think most of the people towards the end of my career, they didn't know Lisa Vargas from whatever. They knew her as, oh, you're Dave Bush's daughter. But my wife and Lisa really supported me throughout, the whole tenure in that. I did work with Andrea Freeman. She was a great lady. I worked with her on the board for a short time. I want to thank Chief Moore and Cindy. This guy has a beautiful heart, and I was there when he put out a spanky for this little girl. And you don't see that very often in a chief of police to do that. The guy's real. He doesn't BS about it, and you can tell that. And I want to thank the chief for supporting the reserves for Special Olympics, for Sunshine Kids and Children's Hospital. But I know I'm leaving some stuff out, but I really want to thank all the reserves here. You guys are the heroes. Everyone in here that supported Sunshine Kids, Special Olympics, Children's Hospital, you changed people's lives. And you changed them forever. When we did the Sunshine Kids, they would take a vote at the end of it. What did you like best? Going to the beach, Malibu, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, whatever, the studios, or LAPD Day? 9 out of 10, probably 9.5 out of 10 said LAPD. So I want to congratulate everybody here. You should be thankful. I want to thank you for what you did, but you guys, like I said, you've changed their lives forever, all these young kids with cancer. Thank you very much. Thank you for the honor. I better sit down here.
Thank you, Dave. So our next Andrea Friedman Award recipient is Eric Rose. Eric started his love of LAPD watching Adam 12. This led to a ride-along when he was 17 with an officer well known to the Corps and to the city of Los Angeles, Dennis Zine. Then State Senator and retired LAPD Chief Ed Davis talked Eric out of going full-time. So seriously, Dennis, what happened on that ride-along so that a former chief of police told him not to go full-time? You and I need to meet at the bar later and discuss this, okay? Thank you, Chief Davis. Because of your advice, the Reserve Corps has been benefited with a dedicated 35-year reserve officer. Professionally, Eric has amassed significant experience and expertise in aiding and counseling people, businesses, and entities in trouble or conflict, or that have been harmed by negative communications that affected or damaged their name, goodwill, image, or their brand, etc., and so forth. This sounds like Eric has made a living from negative circumstances, but he's equally adept at highlighting the positive. Eric has been invaluable to the LAPD and the Reserve Foundation in numerous ways, the very, very least of which is lending his professional skills, and like all reserves, for no pay. Currently, it is Eric that manages our Twitter page. But in the past, Eric has been the driving force behind such initiatives like getting the R removed from the reserve badge and spearheading the necessary changes in state law that allow Level 1 reserve officers to keep their concealed weapon permits after retirement. Officially, Eric retired in October after 35 years as a certified, designated Level 1 reserve officer. Eric, how long did it take you to change that from line reserve to level 1? In addition to patrol and numerous other assignments with the department, LAPD allowed him to be cross-designated as a United States Marshal and allowed him to work with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. Few departments allow reserves to do this work. LAPD understands the value the Reserve Corps can bring to other agencies. Please welcome retired Reserve Officer Eric Rose, who recently said, "I still feel like that little boy who grew up in Canoga Park and dreamt of becoming an LAPD officer." Eric Rose.
Thank you, Carla. I think the most important thing to say, first of all, is the Lakers are up by 15 when I just last looked. And Carla, thanks. You told me that you wanted my speech to be longer than Shamar Moore's last year. So the 20 minutes on the teleprompter are really appreciated. Thank you. Dennis Zine was my first ride-along with LAPD. And the reason why Ed Davis told me to become a reserve is because I was involved in politics and working for Ed Davis at the time. He also told me that you'll probably do it for 3 to 5 years, you'll get bored of it, and then you'll go back to your full-time job in politics. Well, he was right about one thing. I kept involved in politics, but I also kept involved in the LAPD. I think it's really important to thank really one person here tonight more than anyone. It's my wife, who I met after I was a reserve police officer and who's tolerated all my working hours, including when I would work mid-PM watch and come in at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, or when I got injured on the job, helping me heal, and being understanding of, why do you want to continue to do this? You're getting no money. So I really think it's important for my friends and family who've been very supportive of it, and Chief Moore and the department to allow me to do things that few other departments would allow any reserve to do. So with that, thank you.
Congratulations, everyone.
Our next segment is called the Twice a Citizen Award. Each year, the foundation chooses outstanding individuals who are looking beyond their own career achievements and have contributed greatly to the community beyond that, as I say. They're outstanding role models. They genuinely supported law enforcement. And to present the first award tonight, we welcome to the stage President of the Amundsen Foundation and a 20-year veteran of the Reserve Corps. You know him well, Mr. Bill Amundsen.
Good evening, everybody. It is a pleasure to introduce one of tonight's honorees. Well, two honorees, actually. It's Dr. Uri Herscher and Dr. Mina Herscher. Some of you may be asking yourself, who? That is an appropriate question to ask. It's not like they wear NBA rings or won an enemy or anything. With Mina at his side, Uri was the founding president and CEO of the Skirball Center that remains a place of meeting, guided by the Jewish tradition of welcoming the stranger and inspired by the American democratic ideals of freedom and equality. The Skirball shares Jewish traditions not as an education about being Jewish, but as a bridge connecting their traditions to your traditions, illustrating what makes us all part of the same human experience. That's family, faith, acceptance, and generosity. Why is it okay to not really know the Dr. Herschers? Because to them, this institution was built with the vision and input of others like Jack Skirball and former UCLA Chancellor Franklin Murphy. Uri and Mina view themselves as humble conduits of that vision. The work they do is not for themselves, but for others. In addition to her supportive role, Mina worked 30 years as a practicing psychologist focused on the hard work of developing educational and support services for at-risk children and their families. The Herschers had 4 children of their own, and Mina still had time to help the most vulnerable. Kind of sounds like a reserve theme, doesn't it? They still have those 4 children and 7 grandchildren. Uri and Mina are recipients of a Twice a Citizen because they live many of the LAPD values, such as integrity in all we say and do, service to our communities, and respect for people. These values have made them trusted advisors to CEOs and politicos alike. They listen and seek to understand. Uri would have been a great detective. He has the ability to get people to overshare like nobody's business. Many times I've met with him and I've been driving home thinking, why the hell did I share that with him? He just pulls this information out. Their values are why Uri served in the Los Angeles Ethics Commission and was recognized by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services as an outstanding American citizen. This honor is bestowed on a select few. A story that illustrates who they are. When Noah's Ark first opened here at the Skirball, each child was allowed to pick out a stuffed animal to bring into the Ark with them as they toured the exhibit. At the conclusion of one of those visits, a guard asked for the toy back. Uri said, "Let children keep the toys. It's about what people take with them, not what we take from them, and what they leave behind." Please read their fascinating bios in the Tribute Journal, but for now, please enjoy this brief video.
When my parents, brother, and I immigrated to the United States, we arrived as strangers, but we were soon made to feel welcomed. It felt good for a Jewish family who did not know what would happen to them upon arrival in San Jose to receive all these human gifts from their neighbors and to share their customs and traditions. And that's why I'd hope that one day there would be a place where people will do just that, that they will bring their traditions and their autobiography and learn about the Jewish tradition and its ethics. The biblical text emphasizes the welcoming of a stranger, our need to help those who have less than we do, to take care of each other. The theme is not I the people, but we the people. American democratic ideals emphasize those same remarkable human values.
Well, when I think of Uri Hersher, I think above all of his kindness, of his compassion, of his passion for improving society and being of service to others.
He places a tremendous emphasis on memory, remembering those who came before us, those who paved the way for us, those who gave us opportunities.
As part of the whole DNA of the Skirball Cultural Center was Uri's immigrant experience and the wish to honor the high ideals of the United States in welcoming the stranger.
He once told me that in the Passover story, there comes a point where they say, "And then there came a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph." And part of, I think, his vision of the Skirball was to create an institution in Los Angeles where the non-Jewish community, through cultural events, can know the Jewish community, and through that benefit both communities. When you talk about the Skirball, you talk about Uri Hersher, Mina Hersher, Uri Hersher, an incredible team.
She is a trained therapist and had a therapeutic practice for many years.
She did incredible things. She helped create events that catered to children and attracted children and families. Among the most famous is Noah's Ark.
And Mina was just very steady, very insightful. Those attributes, both that training and the temperament to be most helpful to individuals and to groups of people, served us very well. I always think of Uri's name when I think of his legacy. The name in Hebrew refers to light. Uri sheds light. Uri and Mina together shed a great light on our community on everybody who has been privileged to know them and work at their side.
Uri couldn't have built the Skirball Cultural Center alone, but the Skirball Cultural Center couldn't have been built without Mina and Uri Herscher.
It is my hope that people who come to the Skirball Cultural Center will feel inspired to go forth and be a blessing.
Please welcome Uri Herscher as he welcomes us.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what these things are. Somebody told me it was a teleprompter. Never seen one. But now I understand why the President of the United States has a memory where he can just speak out without, and now I know. Wow. Well, I don't know how to use these things, so I won't. Children who are honored late in life so wish that their parents would be in the room to witness that they have been honored. In looking at this video and seeing our parents, my brother Ailey is here, I wish I could thank them. I wish I could thank them for giving us birth. I wish I could thank them for coming to America. I wish I could thank them for giving us a taste of the American dream. It wasn't easy. My mother was a laundress. My father, a cabinet maker. They raised two great kids who honor them tonight as you honor us tonight. Welcome to your annual Skirball home. Tonight, I begin expressions of gratitude to those who are usually held to the end of the evening before we give them thanks. Gratitude to the maintenance staff. Gratitude to the event planners, the kitchen and the wait staff, the videographers, the photographers, and to the security staff of the Skirball, and many more. Speaking of the security staff, I do want to acknowledge our Security and Safety Director, Mark Canole, who's seated at our family table. Mark served in the Marine Corps as a decorated Marine for 32 years, including a period as a reservist. I know how much he has appreciated working with the LAPD and the reservists in keeping us safe at the Skirball. And those of us who immigrated to this country in our young years, believe me, how much we appreciate all of you in the room. So here you are at the Skirball Cultural Center, But who are we? Who are we? We find ourselves here, this beautiful and elegant center of culture and education. But 40 years ago, this was 15 acres of a dump site. Some of us felt strongly that if we worked hard, if we built with loving hearts, we could transform this arid land into an oasis. Among the distinguished members of this community who walked this land of weeds and snakes with me was Bob Amundson, then president of the Amundson Foundation. I wish you were here, Bob. He believed in the vision of what the Skirball may become as a cultural center that would embrace the diversity of the city and extend a hug to hundreds of thousands of school children from LAUSD. His son, Bill Amundson, now president of the foundation, joined his father's enthusiasm and spirit of optimism. And here we are, with Carla Amundson joining Bill in this pioneering endeavor. And this evening, we were welcomed by Carla as a co-president of the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation, and Bill, as you heard, a police reservist who was kind enough to introduce me. Bill always speaks from the heart, and therefore he enters the hearts of the listeners. Mina, who is unfortunately not with us this evening as she heals from recent surgery, wishes to have been here and feels honored to have been selected. It is a cause dear to our hearts. It is especially meaningful to us that this celebration is once again taking place here at the Skirball Cultural Center. Throughout my life, I have admired those who are reservists and stand ready at all times to protect our community. These memories begin early for me, at the age of 7 in Tel Aviv in the 1940s. In those days, before and after the State of Israel was born in 1948, becoming a great ally to the United States of America. Tel Aviv experienced bombings, including those falling on our immediate neighborhood. My father and my uncles were regarded too old to serve in combat, but my father was sufficiently young to patrol the city, and my uncles sufficiently young to drive military vehicles along the borders. Their concern for the welfare of others extended beyond their own families and their own safety. They understood well that they were needed, and they answered the call as reservists. The battle for independence could not have been won without their support. By the way, I spoke with my son Gideon in Israel this morning and shared with him the honor to be bestowed upon us tonight. He reminded me of his own active military career in Israel as a tank commander in the Israeli army, but he emphasized that he continues to remain a reservist at the age of 48. My son Josh, who is at the family table this evening, was for a decade a varsity coach at Venice High School. He told me how critical it was for him to have a number of athletes seated on the bench as the game began, noting that his reservists on the bench were often called to the game and helped win it. Mina joins me in expressing our gratitude. Gratitude for each of you heroically dedicated to keep our Los Angeles community safe. Our communal welfare would be greatly diminished without you and your families. Thank you. Thank you for stepping forward. Thank you for standing tall. And thank you for the gift of your selfless commitment. Thank you for working in tandem with the LAPD. I want you to feel great about yourselves. For that you are, and for all that you are, feel wonderful about yourselves tonight and every night. That's how we feel about you, and in multitudes. Remain strong. All of you remain strong. And may we be strengthened in one another. Heartfelt congratulations, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
While they're taking those pictures, since Uri was kind enough to bring up my father, I thought I'd share a quick little story about his getting involved with the Skirball Center. As Uri mentioned, it was a dump. Literally, it was a dump, and he's got the pictures to prove it. My father came at his invitation to see the dump. And yeah, he quickly realized the vision of what was going on, but he was, being an old radio guy, what he really liked most was a pile of old radios in the dump. So thank you, Uri, for letting him bring back those old radios from the dump.
I love your father, and I love you.
Congratulations. Thank you. The story's so moving because I think it's a perfect demonstration of what it means to have a vision and to share that vision with others, and not just yourself and your own family. It's thinking outside the box. It's thinking about the bigger picture, about society, about the community. And this is what this evening is about. With everyone here, we are mindful of what it means to serve others. So the Hersher story is touching, it is moving, it's beautiful, as is the Amundsen story, because these are people who are carrying on the torch and the legacy of the vision that was set before them. So thank you to these families, and thank you for what you do here this evening. I would like to introduce our next presenter. George Fothery is a partner at Sidney Austin LLP and one of the country's leading strategic legal advisors representing investors, developers, lenders in a wide array of large and complex commercial real estate transactions. He has served as the lead attorney for representing the descendants of African-American entrepreneurs, Willa and Charles Bruce, the story we have talked about recently on the news, in fact, in the historic return, of course, of Bruce's beach property as a lead advisor to Debbie Allen, Dance Academy, and the development of their new state-of-the-art facility, the Rhymes Performing Arts Center. Please give a warm welcome to George Fothery.
You did a great job. Good evening, everyone. It is a tremendous, tremendous pleasure to be able to introduce you all to my good friend and a mentor, Norman Nixon. Now, many of you here this evening know Mr. Nixon's impressive accomplishments and statistics. He was the 22nd overall draft pick in the 1977 NBA draft, selected by our very own Los Angeles Lakers. In his first season, he ranked 4th in the league for assists and was named to the All-NBA rookie team. In his second season, he led the league in steals and ranked 3rd in assists. He helped the Showtime Lakers beat the 76ers in the NBA championships twice. He also set the record. I was surprised to learn this. He set the record for the NBA's most minutes played in a game, and to this day, 40 years later, only 2 NBA players in history have played more minutes in a single game than Norm Nixon. Now, over the years, I've had the privilege and pleasure of knowing Norm by a different set of accomplishments and statistics through his work with the leadership, through his work and leadership of the Debbie Allen Dance Academy. Dada, as it's known, has made arts accessible and served the LA community for over 20 years. Over 800 young artists train and perform in Dada productions. 90% of Dada's students are children of color. 60% of the students receive some form of financial aid. Dada alum have gone on to perform and choreograph on Broadway, in television, danced on tour with musical artists, and joined the ranks of professional companies to become industry choreographers and accepted into elite institutions. Now look, I think it is a major life accomplishment to win 2 NBA All-Stars and to set the league record for time on the court. But let me tell you about one of Norm's accomplishments that I think is even more impressive. A few years ago, the Debbie Allen Dance Academy was generously gifted a piece of property near Washington and Western in South LA. The gift of the property was amazing, but Dada needed to design, construct, and raise the money for its new headquarters and performing arts center. Enter Norman Nixon. Norm took the lead to fulfill the vision for the new academy. He selected, worked with, and led the architects, project managers, and general contractor for the project. To cover the budget, Norm pulled off a nearly impossible feat, courting donors and lenders, some of whom are friends from Chase and JP Morgan are here with us this evening, by sharing his vision for the Academy's new home. When the final buzzer rang, Dada, through Norm and Debbie's vision and through Norm's leadership, had raised almost $20 million in loans and grants to transform a former warehouse into a 2-story, 25,000 square foot dance center and performance space. This dance cathedral will be the school in which our next generation of Los Angeles children learn and master dance, production, entertainment, and excellence. To me, this gift to Los Angeles' children, born through Norm's tireless efforts, will be his greatest legacy to our City of Angels. Let's watch a video celebrating Mr. Nixon.
You know, the word possibility is likely the most important word that we speak in this building and in the studios. If it's possible, that makes it so. It makes it so. And I started the Debbie Allen Dance Academy with not even a nonprofit. I mean, just an idea. All it takes is an idea and some passion in your heart and a good reason. And then I had a line down the street for the first audition, like 500 kids, and I didn't even have a scholarship to give them. And I'm like, oh God, Norman. Norman looked at me, my husband was like, what? And so I funded the school myself, really, until we became a nonprofit.
This whole thing started because of Debbie. It started because of her experience growing up, not being able to dance because of her color, all the limitations. So she had always said once she got to a point in her life, she wanted to create a place where anyone could come and dance.
Well, I have always known that dance is a transformative art, a healing art. What I see in my students, and they come from all over, and they're all very different. And we've had some that were very shy and in a little shell, and now they're blossoming and speaking out loud and expressing themselves, or some that were rambunctious and just disrespectful. And now, yes, Miss Allen, and can I get the door for you? And on time. The world of dance is a world of discipline, hard work, sweat, pain, but the ultimate joy when you are out there.
Who's on the right side? Raise your hand. Don't talk. Do not talk. Shh. Focus. Walk to place and go.
Miss Allen's heart is probably one of the biggest hearts I've ever come across.
Very nice.
And she's just so generous and so giving and so loving to every child. And that environment of love is really what motivates me to bring my excellence, and I think the entire staff here, to hopefully educate and change the minds and bodies of these young, amazing little children.
So I think the exposure and the opportunities that the kids get here are incredible. And in most cases, they're opportunities that they would not have gotten if they weren't here, but opportunities that require them to be professional. So they can't go act like 7- and 8-year-olds when you're on a set or when you're in a Broadway theater. You got to get your spot.
5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's a problem. This is a problem.
I think one of the best things about dance is that accountability and responsibility. And it can't start too young. Children at 5 years old, at 4 years old, can learn responsibility and accountability, and they should.
All the different elements to create a space where they could come and just create. They can be carefree, but at the same time, learning essential skills that could also carry them throughout their lives.
My hope is that young people and people with ideas do not feel boundaries. And we say to the world, yes, we can. Yes, we will. And we're not asking, can we? We're doing it.
People forget before Barack and Michelle, before Jay-Z and Beyonce, our first Black Power couple, Debbie Allen, Norm Nixon. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the stage to accept the 2023 Twice a Citizen Award, athlete, businessman, entrepreneur, humanitarian, social activist, mentor, friend, husband, father, and grandfather, Norman Eller Nixon.
Thank you, George. When he was talking for a minute, I was looking around the table to see who he was talking about. I was like, who was he talking about over here? Brought up some stats I didn't know anything about. My wife couldn't be with us tonight. She's actually in Las Vegas. Her and my daughter, they're staging Mariah Carey. She's doing a big show. So she wanted to say, thank you guys for honoring us. She would really love to have been here. For me, I'd like to thank the foundation. Thank the foundation for choosing me and my wife to honor us for the work we do. The work we do does not happen without having a community involved. George talked about it. There were banks involved. George
being a little humble, but George did $1 million worth of pro bono work for us to make this thing happen, especially this real estate. We did it with a combination of finance, and J.P. Morgan gave us a loan. I always say it was a smoke and mirror. You know, with foundation, you lose about $60,000, $70,000 a month, and they gave me a construction loan during the pandemic. How he did that, I don't know. I always say smoke and mirrors. I'd like to piggyback on what was said just a little earlier. It's just so important that kids don't forget history, and real history, true history. I just finished reading a book by Miss Heather McGee, and she talked about zero sum. What that meant is people worried that if one group advances, it's at the expense of another group. So when she says zero sum, that's exactly what it means. But the book is called The Sum of All of Us. We all do better when we all do better. So one of the things we do at the Dance Academy, we try to give these kids essential skills. We provide arts education in communities where it's not accessible. And we've been doing it for many, many years. I know I've been doing it for a long time because when I call some of my friends, they don't call me back because they know I'm asking for money. I'm sure you guys experienced that as well when you're raising money. I read something very interesting before. It said, people are not judged by the objects and the things that they collect, but by the lives that they touch. So I'm going to accept this award for me and my wife, not so much for the work that we've done, but for the lives and the plans that we have to touch more lives in the future. I'll say this to you guys. I digress for a moment. I was talking to Chief Moore. Years ago, I used to sponsor Baker to Vegas. I was one of the many sponsors that sponsored Baker to Vegas. And it was ironic that every year Metro won. So how many people think Metro recruits track athletes to win Baker to Vegas? How many police think that out here? Come on, give me by. How many think they recruit? They win it every year. How can one group guys win Baker to, most of you guys are policemen, so you know what Baker to Vegas is. For those of you who don't know, it's a race from here all the way to Las Vegas. And Metro win every year, and these guys run world-class times. So it was just it was so amazing to see how they won every year. But again, I'm humbled and honored to be an honoree tonight. Again, I want to thank you guys. And I'll tell you why you know that this award means so much to me and my wife. She couldn't be here, but I was supposed to be at the floor at the Lakers game. And I came here, guys. So that speaks volumes for itself. But again, thank you guys. We will continue to do what we do. I enjoyed coming to the Skirball, a great educational moment for me. But I want all of us to continue to push, because it's important that we understand the real history of this country, because it makes all of us better, and it makes it easier for us to deal with the problems and the things that we have to. Learning other people's history doesn't make another person bad, but it makes you understand who you're dealing with and the different people you're dealing with. We have a very diverse community in where our dance academy is. Korean, Latino, we translate all our material in all the different languages because we want to have a place that's inclusive of everybody. Children are taught to hate. They don't know anything about hate. You put them in a room together, they will get along just like any other children. So it's important that all of us, as people that are leaders in our fields and in our communities, to continue to educate the community, continue to be inclusive, and continue to do all these things that's going to make this place a better place for all of us, not for some of us, but for all of us. And again, thank you guys, and I humbly accept this award from you guys.
A series of beautiful remarks. Wow.
By the way, the Lakers won tonight.
Yeah. I don't think it.
127-97. Maybe it was a good luck that you were here. Maybe.
I was thinking, Norm Nixon is here. I'll bet he's got really good seats tonight, and yet he's here. That really is terrific.
My husband was excited. He went over and took a picture. He rarely does that. He's like, I have to send my friends this picture to be like, look who I'm with.
Yeah.
Really touching remarks, spoken from the heart. And you mentioned the book, and it makes me think of this other book, actually. I don't know if you're familiar with the author. He's a New York Times bestselling author, Brad Metzler. He also does children's books called Ordinary People Change the World. And it's a series, and he focuses on different famous people from history and simplifies it so children understand who these people were and how they changed the world. And one of my favorite ones is Harriet Tubman. And at the end of each book, there's this lesson. And as an adult even, you read these books and you're reminded of what really matters in life and really makes you have a better perspective and a great reminder for us adults as well. So at the end of Harriet Tubman's book, it talks about if you're a bird and you reach the sky and you reach the highest of heights and you're up there and you're enjoying the view, you have two options: to stay up there and just enjoy the view for yourself, or to fly back down and to take someone else up with you so they can also enjoy the view. And I think that is the theme, really, of this evening and what this is all about. It's about giving back, and it's about helping others, and it's not about you, just yourself succeeding. It's all of us as a community and how far we can go with one another's help. So thank you. It actually reminded me of that, and it's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah, community and sacrifice. Yeah, for sure.
So we are back to recognizing Reserve Officer of the Year for the final two bureaus. We do hope everyone from the Valley Bureau and the Specialized are all backstage, ready to be honored. We'll see. Chief, if you're ready, here we go. There he is. We begin this segment by recognizing reserve officers in the Valley Bureau. Sometimes it's not, 1 year that merits Reserve Officer of the Year, but the accumulation of deeds that really is remarkable, and that is certainly the case for Topanga Division's Chaplain J. Martin Fortak. After retiring from banking in 2015, he volunteered at Topanga, and 2 years later, he went through the department's chaplain cadre. Today, he continues to provide comfort to LAPD personnel in addition to numerous other charitable acts throughout the city of Los Angeles. And when you think of service, you may think of Officer Edwin Bardalis. He joined the department as a New Hollywood Division cadet. That was back in 2013. He left at the rank of corporal to join the United States Marine Corps, where he achieved the rank of sergeant. At the conclusion of the service, he returned home to North Hollywood as a reserve officer, and he works 2 shifts a week and finds additional time to assist the Community Relations Office and started working Valley Traffic Division. Wow. Also, no stranger to this stage is Officer Gary Kennedy, who has been a Division Reserve of the Year 6 times, Valley Bureau Reserve of the Year twice, Department Reserve of the Year once. All he had to do was work tirelessly since 1999. That's it. Yeah. Gary continues to be an asset to Foothill Division, where he remains involved in almost every community event and outreach program, as well as street and racing task forces. So Officer Kennedy, if you don't mind, please remain again after you accept this for Reserve Officer of the Year for Valley Bureau.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the 7 Reserve Officers of the Year from the Specialized Division. Detective Support and Vice Division wrote of Officer Hugh Velas's professionalism and commitment by working more than the minimum hours, and apparently he goes well above and beyond. Working more than the minimum really is an understatement when you consider after retiring as a detective too, Velas joined the Reserve Corps and works the City Attorney Liaison Unit, where he manages the investigation and prosecution of misdemeanor arrests in 11 geographical divisions. Bravo. But he's not here off stage, so. But bravo nonetheless. Officer Patrick Yamba is a polylingual police supervisor in charge of the Office of Operations Analysis Unit. When not doing that full-time job, he works for the Gang and Narcotics Division, providing crime analysis, charts, graphs, and related projects there, analyzing crime trends, patterns, assists in the planning of resources for the suppression of criminal activity. Yamba is well respected in the crime intelligence community well beyond LAPD. Bravo. Tonight we have recognized reserve officers in the private sector and some who are retired LAPD. What we need is a musician. Welcome Officer Ronald Batsall, who retired after a 38-year career with the department. He worked at Central, 77th, Hollenbeck, Wilshire, and Rampart. Today, West Division's Batsall plays the bagpipes for the Los Angeles Police Emerald Society and the Pipes and Drums Band. This organization fosters goodwill, as you know, plays for fallen officers at their funerals. Officer Batsall is also regularly seen at the LAPD Museum. Bravo. Counterterrorism and Special Operations Bureau recognizes the efforts of Officer George Alwyn. In the last year, he participated in several dignitary protection details, assisting the United States Secret Service and State Department. During the 2022 Summit of the Americas, Alwyn specifically supported the visit of the Vice President of the United States. In the past, he's been responsible for organizing numerous police cooperation exchanges and missions between LAPD and the Middle East. Officer Frank Muccio is the Information Systems Director of USC Student Health and serves as Vice President of an education and science-based nonprofit. As a reserve officer with Community Safety Partnership Bureau, Muccio uses his outside experience to bring science to kids in Watts, Boyle Heights, Compton, and Nickerson Gardens. These youth learn about rocketry. They build rockets. In addition, Muccio provides technology that supports youth on their pathway to success. 34 years as a full-time officer and 7 years, 9 months as a reserve officer. As Officer Jesus Corral once said, you can't retire experience. Corral is currently assigned to the Commercial Crimes Division, working the Task Force for Regional Auto Theft Prevention. His prior experience as a task force investigator and supervisor make him a valuable task force resource. His reputation and skill attracted the Western States Auto Theft Investigators Association, and there he serves on the board of directors. Busy guy. Yeah. Newton, 77th, Fugitive, and North Hollywood have all benefited from Officer John McCarthy during his 35 years with the Reserve Corps. Today, he works in the Robbery Homicide Division Cold Case Homicide Unit. McCarthy solved a 1990 murder of a victim that was brutally stabbed to death. Through DNA analysis, witness interviews, and exhaustive review of the case, McCarthy was able to link the case to a career criminal with numerous arrests in Los Angeles. In addition, he routinely assists with warrant service and other detective tasks. Wow. And Officer John McCarthy, please remain to accept the Reserve Officer of the Year for specialized units.
Congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much for your dedication and your time and everything you've accomplished. So for our final award,
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this one is like the Oscar for the Best Picture, okay? It's the big one, recognizing overall 2022 Reserve Officer of the Year. So we've introduced you to 21 outstanding reserve officers. And from those, the chief and the command staff have chosen one of the Reserve Officers of the Year. And after reviewing the commitment, dedication, effectiveness of the job, Mark, you have the honors.
All right. Earlier, we spoke of the skills the officer brings to the specialized division, more specifically to his current position with robbery homicide in the cold case unit. He has given 35 years to the city of LA, and we can't thank him enough. Please welcome back to the podium Reserve Officer John McCarthy. You are the Reserve Officer of the Year for 2022. Come back up and there you go.
He stayed up.
He's up,
He
stayed up. Good. Officer McCarthy, we'd love to have you say, and when the photo op is done, please share a thought or two here. I know. Thanks, John.
I'm going to drink someone's water here before I do all this, huh? I'm a dopey Irishman, so excuse me. This is a great honor for me. And I've had a great run here. I've had 35 years with the Reserve Program. I've done an awful lot of things here. I've had an awful lot of fun. I currently work over in robbery homicide under the direction of D3 Mitzi Roberts, and it's a fabulous thing that we do over there. We get to bring closure to families that have been waiting for closure for a very, very long time. But I'd like to thank everybody from the Corps who I've come across in the last 35 years here and who've enriched my career and allowed me to do a lot of things that I have never thought I'd be able to do. I got involved with this because, like I said, I'm a dopey Irishman. I mean, I thought, you know, hey, I was afforded a lot of opportunities as a child, and I thought if I could do one thing and give back to the community, I'd do it. And 35 years later, here I am, giving it back. So I want to thank the City of Los Angeles. I want to thank the Los Angeles Police Department, the Reserve Corps, and again, everybody, my wife, my family, that have allowed me to do all these great things. And thank you so much for this fabulous honor.
Congratulations to everyone, to all of the honorees tonight. Chief, it has been an honor being on the stage with you. Where are you? Oh, there, he's there. He left. He left the stage. He's done. Let's see. I think we made it in time. It's not even 10 p.m. That suit, yes, 10 minutes. All good. Thanks, everyone, for really going above and beyond, for supporting the community, the Reserve Corps, the hours, the dedication, the contribution, to leave your jobs, your homes, your families, nights, months, weeks. You know, it takes a lot. It is truly commendable. And again, you can't do it alone. I always want to emphasize your spouses or your other family members that help you do what you do. I say this because my husband's always there with me every event. I don't know if he knew what he signed up for, but he's always there. And in order for me to be even here doing what I do, it's because I have his support. So really, truly, your families deserve a round of applause. Thank you all so much.
And thank you, Roxia, for joining me tonight. Thanks to everyone for joining us, the sponsors, the generous auction raffle donors, to all supporting the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation. Carla and Michael, wow, great organization and another great year. Congratulations. And everyone, remember to pick up your auction items from the staff in the lobby. On behalf of the Reserve Foundation, please stay safe, and we hope to see you all again next year.
Have a
It's
good
been an
night.
honor. Good night.